Good morning.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Compass.
How's everybody doing this morning?
Wet.
Wet. It's sleepy.
Wet, sleepy. Yeah, it's that kind of weather. Cold, damp.
It
I'll
really
tell you,
is.
we're going to have some green mountains down here, though, to start the spring. Let me tell you that. It is going to be very, very, very green, which is cool.
This is a grilled cheese and tomato soup day.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how that became the thing, but man,
Yeah.
right back to childhood.
So, Sean, one of the things I thought we would start out with today is, given that Sky Michael's visit is still so close in our memories, and a lot of his suggestions, I thought maybe we'd go around the horn. And given that we talked last week about social media and implementing connecting the activities through your CRM, an effort to drive listings, maybe if there's anyone who took those action steps last week and had success, if they'd like to share any success, meaning that you spend some time nurturing those relationships and reaching out at a deeper level and working through your CRM. And as a result of that activity last week, you produced an outcome, right? Because I think, I was thinking this morning, Sean, on my walk, you and I, we're always thinking about what's the next episode, what's the next topic. But we never really stand back and say, well, did anyone actually take action on something that we think is so meaningful as to produce the right result that we don't kind of drill
implementation?
Yeah, because if we're all here to learn, and we're all and learning for learning's sake is great, but if you're not taking action, then what's the point of learning, right? I mean, so I just like to see if we could maybe go around the horn and check with the team here and say who as a result, a combination of Sky's visit, us kind of drilling down on that CRM and making those connections at a deeper level, who took action on that last week and had a positive result. And if anyone could come on screen, or you don't have to come on screen, just start to unmute yourself and share that would be great. Don't everybody rush now. No, seriously. I mean, is that really nobody? Nobody took any action on.
Lena's on.
Lena. Okay, Lena.
Yeah. Good morning. Sorry, I'm at the gym. Let me go to a little quieter place. Yeah, I actually had a really good result. So I did the reverse, not the reverse. It was when you go to see who you spoke to last in your CRM, the day that he came. So I reached out to one of my friends. She's a mom from the school that my kids go to, and set up a coffee date with her and another gal. And both of them ended up wanting something to do with real estate. So one of them just wanted a lender. So sending her a lender info, and then the other one, the two of her boys are sharing a room, so she wants a bigger house, just not right the exact moment, but in the future. So
not every step starts not at the exact moment,
right.
If you get the exact moment sale, that's when you look up to the
you're behind.
No, that's when you just look up and say thank you, whoever's up there for that one, because that's a gift, right? Because those truly are. But you engineer your business, and that's how you do it, Lena. It's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. That's how that feels. You took the action. They're not ready right now. Okay, 2 back. I'm going to do it again. 3 steps forward. Now you're a step ahead of where you were yesterday. That's the dance.
100%.
Right.
And it's cumulative.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
Christopher has his hand up.
Yes, Christopher, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Good morning. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I did something similar where I am now posting a little more about just what I tend to do on the daily. And I feel like people really interact with that. So I had a lot of more interaction than I have just by posting things that I do on the regular, just previewing properties or whatever the case might be. And I happen to come and stay at top of mind for a realtor who needed a open house last minute. He said, "Hey, Christopher, hey, Triana, I noticed you are, posting more, you're doing more open houses. Can you cover this one for me? I thought of you." I'm like, that's awesome. That's exactly what I want, is to be top of mind, obviously with the client. But if I can help another agent and, build some sort of relationship there, and I thought that was really cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah. How did the open house go?
I didn't get to go, but he and I are going to talk later this week about maybe another future possibility.
Fantastic.
So it led to an even longer conversation about business and what we're doing, and the similarities of what we've got going on, because we're both newer agents at Compass and stuff. So it was just nice. It was just nice to interact, and like I said, having more people interact with the posts that I am making and having those natural conversations come up.
There we go.
Very good.
There's that word again, Sean. Conversation.
Conversations. I think about
Thank you for sharing, Christopher.
we're saying and
Thank you.
what Lena said. Oftentimes we're focused on an outcome that really is what creates that roller coaster feeling. If we look at this as just creating opportunities, one of my favorite things is to take a little notebook and put 3 lines on each page, and each page has the name of the month. So if I talk to someone today who says probably in the fall, in September, we're going to be selling, good, I go put their name on one of the lines. My goal is no longer to get a listing right now, which, like you said, it's almost dumb luck. My goal is just to fill the notebook. Because
Right.
It's a cumulative impact. Once you've done this for a while, now you have business all the time. But it's better if we don't have to worry about it right now.
You'd said a moment ago, Sean, that it's all about the compounding interest, essentially, of the action taken, right? I want to share something with the team that I think is really a lesson that I learned in life, and that is that from a mentor, which is to say that, and he had kind of a really different take on this, but he says, until and unless you know what your limitations are, you won't accomplish much in life. Until and unless you know where your limitations lie, you won't accomplish much in life. So then I heard a podcast this weekend talking about how we program our children. We've been programmed to follow our passion, right? And so if we're not passionate about something, then we shouldn't do it. And if we follow our passion, then magical things will happen. And so in this comment, what this individual was sharing is a Stanford professor said that, and for years they've been doing this study, when interviewing people, how many people as a percentage, when interviewed, now we're talking over a span of 25 years, this is a neuro-linguistic psychology professor at Stanford, how many people do you think understand with clarity what their passion is in life? Take a guess, Sean. What would you guess?
Small. Got to be small.
20%.
20%.
80% will tell you, yo, I know what my passion is. And they'll list off 5 things. That's not clarity. And it's a small, and then 80% of the people, that's 8 out of 10 people that you meet, don't know what their passion is. And then he went on to say something that was profound for me, because I'd never heard it put this way. And he said that it's not about following your passion. It's about taking action so that you can learn where your talents lie. And when you discover where your talents lie, you drill down on those things. And ultimately, when you drill down and you find where your talents lie, passions will emerge. So it's kind of like a reverse engineering as to what we've all been programmed. And yet we have Sky Michaels come in, we give action steps, leave here today, get a hold of 5 people in your CRM, start establishing those connections. We've had a couple of people that have shared, maybe there's more. Wendy's got her hand raised. I want to hear, so I'll shut up here in a second. But isn't that a profound thing? Because the world today, kids today, these millennials today, they're more interested with novelty than mastery. It's like they want all the titles, they want all these things, but they don't want to master anything. And because they don't want to master anything, they don't know how to really do anything really well, right? So I thought that was a really cool podcast. And I'm going to, when we're done here, I'd like to hear from Wendy next. I'll share where I heard this. It was a really great podcast. It was about finding your goal in life or finding your mission from this Stanford professor. And if you give me a second, I'll look it up and share it with the group. But Wendy, before we go to Wendy, any thoughts, Sean, on that? Does that ring a bell or anything?
I haven't heard that either. I love it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to know the podcast.
Yes, go ahead. So Wendy.
Okay, so my win was I was organizing my CRM with A, B, just like Sky said, and you guys have been saying, A, B, C's, and agents. And I stumbled upon this agent who used to be a past client of mine who got his license a few years ago. And I reached out to him and I talked to him about Compass and how he would be a perfect fit. And he's meeting with the recruiter tomorrow. So I hope he joins Compass. And I find that to be a win. Yeah.
That's always
Absolutely.
yeah. The relationships, Wendy, you build with your colleagues in this business is equally as important as the relationships you have with your clients. Trust me on that. Do you know how many times I've had conversations, Sean, this week where agents said we were up against multiple offers, but because I had known John or I had known Wendy or I knew Linda and I had that relationship and they had respect for me and the way I conducted my business, I got the deal over the 5. And my offer wasn't really the best on paper. But that had value in how you are negotiating. And when the relationship you have with other people is in fact a form of negotiation with your competitors.
100%. And when that guy called me to say he became a realtor, he said, I just wanted to let you know I'm your competition now. You know what I said to him? You are not my competition. You are my colleague. And
Good.
so that's what it's all about. You're 100%.
Yeah, and you taking the step to make that comment says a lot about what you stand for and how you can help shadow with a leader. It's how you shape the mindset of the business. Yeah, we're not in competition. There's enough business for everybody. We're colleagues now, and if I can ever be of help to you, do not hesitate to call. Boom, done. Real quick, Sean, it's the Professor G podcast with Scott Galloway, and it was last Thursday. It was episode 241. So it's the Proof PROFG podcast with Scott Galloway, episode 241, Designing Your Life and Finding Your Talent with Bill Burnett. Wonderful podcast. I mean, it was fabulous. So anyway,
this is so strange. I think things happen in life all the time. It's exactly last Wednesday, just before I left for Dallas. This is a text I wrote my son. My son is 21. And I think this goes directly to what you're saying. He feels lost, and he's starting to get down on himself. I don't have a job, and do anything. Just go. That's not what I want to do for a career. There's this pressure of I have to pick my career job. And he finally said to me, look at you, Dad. You did all these things that were part of becoming who you are now. That's how he sees my life. And he has no idea how untrue that is. So, and I wrote him a text, exactly what you just said. What you were saying yesterday, son, isn't true. I was all over the place with jobs. Didn't know what I wanted to do or why. Tried all kinds of things. In the end, all that craziness was not a path to what I do now. I do what I do now because of all that craziness. It's the cart before the horse. You don't know what your passion's going to be. You
engaged in curiosity and found out where your talents lie. That's
exactly.
Right. So what is that? So we hear the path of mastery is all these, learn, do, teach. True. But really mastery is grit, perseverance, and time on the job. Whatever it is you're doing, that's the path to mastery, because there's nothing that you've ever mastered that you were not horrible at to start. There's just nothing. Correct. And even when you think you go, I'm natural at this. Let me tell you my story. I sold a house my first week in real estate. I did an open house. I could barely speak. My voice was trembling. You could see my shirt beating in my throat when those people walked up, and they bought a house from me. It's a true story. And there was no talent involved, right? It was just luck. It was luck and them probably feeling a whole lot sorry for me. How I turned my career into something that would be predictable and duplicatable, but getting back in there, getting rid of that nervous energy through grit, through perseverance, and time doing it. And then you started to become less and less and less and less nervous and more competent. And your magnets get stronger. And now you're aligning with people for the right reasons. That's it. So I think for your son and for anyone else on this call, engage in curiosity. Find out where your talents lie. I thought that was such a powerful podcast. Because I'm telling you, man, we've all been programmed just to follow your passion, dream big, follow your passion. 80% of the world doesn't know what their passion is. So they're setting them up for failure. Like I'm supposed to know without ever taking the action. I'm sorry.
The two things that you have to have: curiosity and patience.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to get uncomfortable. You have to be curious. And then, like you said, the grit. I refer to it as the tedium of success. But mastery is not about angels singing and doing some magical thing. It's about, being in the garage playing chords over and over for days, weeks, months, years, until you can go on stage and actually play guitar in a band.
It's about getting sand kicked in your face. That's what it
Getting
is.
sand kicked in your face.
So how many, again, by the show of hands last week, took the action step of looking at your likely to sells and made a contact from that? Can anyone share with us any success or any ahas in that endeavor, if you'd be so kind to indulge? Because that's a big part of your leads, right? If you go to your likely to sell, you've got people, there are acres of diamonds in there. Did anybody take that step? Okay.
Are you there?
Yes, Shannon.
So I haven't gotten like leads directly off of it, but I have made a point to at least do 5 to 10. So I am getting them and dropping them down. Ironically, I did look at one of my likely to sells the other day, and it was from 2021, but I actually have their house in escrow right now. So obviously it is doing what it's supposed to do.
And so are you.
Well,
we close in 2 days. So yeah.
Right, 2021. But go back to what Lena said. She just had a meeting with some folks. She had a conversation with them. Timing just not yet. Well, if Lena took that action step on these folks today, that same person shows up in the year 2021 thinking like that. They show up in 2023 as your client. Okay? Right.
And it's giving good conversation, especially for the people that I do know, and when I send out text messages and they respond back, which is,
good on you,
with what's going on in life.
Good on you. Good on you. All right.
There's a great term I heard this past week called "What's your zog?"
What's your zog? What's that?
Zog.
I haven't heard that before. That's a new one.
I hadn't either. They said your zog, and every one of us has one. It's your zone of greatness.
Mm.
But to your point, it has to be discovered. It's not chosen. You have to go out there and allow it to happen to you.
Right.
By doing, though, you said that first one that you got was because you were lucky. Well, lucky happens when you put yourself in a position to be lucky.
Well, yeah.
You were out talking to clients. I mean, it may not have been good yet. You may not have been who you wanted to be.
Oh.
But you put yourself in a position to get lucky.
God is my witness. That is a truth. I know it's hard to believe, but that actually happened to me. In fact, I was late. I started on a Wednesday, and that was a Sunday, and I'd already put my first deal together, not even knowing what I was doing.
That's a great start.
Yeah, just luck. But I mean, I asked to do the job. Like to your point, right? Every journey starts with that first step. I think the thing that I've learned about really talented people too, or not, talent is not even the right word. It's just people that achieve at a high level. They're not afraid to embarrass themselves. They're not afraid to make a mistake or to fail. They're not. That's okay with them.
You're going to.
You fail forward. Yeah.
That great line from Gary Keller.
What's
fail
that?
faster.
Yeah.
Fail faster. You're going to fail. That's the only way to become good at something.
Yeah.
Stop hiding from it. Embrace it. Fail faster.
Speaking of Gary Keller, just belabor something that I heard, but probably resonates with me because my daughter went to see you. She's a buff. In his speech, and I don't know if I shared this with you or if we talked about this, so if we have, just stop me because I don't want to waste any time. But in his address to his team at our colleagues over at Keller, one of the things Gary was talking about them was this really weird phenomenon that only exists. Scientists have only found this trait in the American buffalo. And that is that when a storm is rolling in, right, when there's trouble on the way in the atmosphere, they charge the storm because they've learned that for their survival, it is far better to start moving towards that storm so you can pass through it quicker and spend less time in that negative energy and be safe than to wait as the storm develops, becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And you got tornadoes, you got floods, whatever, right? The buffalo is the only creature that scientists have found that will actually charge the storm. And he was using that in relationship to the shift in the market and the change and all that's going on in the financial markets. He was encouraging his team, and I thought it was brilliant. And he showed up, he had a buffalo, like 3 or 4 buffalo running in one direction, right? Charge the storm. Don't believe that story? Google it. It's true. I thought, is that really true? Is that one of those like live, things that you hear about? Some skipper story that you hear about that they have a ton of on the seas and stuff, something like that. And that genre. No, it's true. It's absolutely true. So,
well, we're the only animal that can mentally choose to become that.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be instinctual. We can decide.
That's right. Right. Yeah. We seek shelter, but sometimes we need sirens to remind, like we can't, the obvious thing in front of us doesn't as the biggest planet. Yeah.
It's funny you say that. One of the things I wanted to bring up this morning, go just old school, but it's so powerful. How many of you on this call have no more than 3 goals, and they are on your mirror? They're in your master bedroom window. They're on the wall at your office. That reminder, it has magical power. But how many of us actually do it? How many of you have that where all you can do is look at, this is my profit this year. This is my outrageous number of appointments I'm going to schedule. Just 2, maximum 3 things.
Those affirmations.
Don't do it now.
Yeah. It's a powerful thing, isn't it? To remind yourself what it is you're gunning for. It's huge. Absolutely huge.
Hanging in my closet, John says.
Yeah.
He sees it every day when he gets dressed. I loved it. Oh, Linda has it as well. Good.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to not achieve a goal that you look at every day. It becomes, there's a term called, cognitive dissonance, meaning our brain is thinking one thing, saying one thing, but is aware that we're doing something else. And it's painful. Our brain does not like that.
Yeah.
And eventually it will solve the problem, either by achieving the goal or by taking the goal down. Erasing it off the mirror.
It's powerful. Sean, my time in Montana on sabbatical, I had this vision in my mind of where I saw myself in my life as I wind down here and head for the finish line. And while I still have a lot to give and, far from being ready to retire, the truth is that if you think of a horse track, starting gate, you have turn 1, turn 2, backstretch, turn 3, turn 4. In my life, and what I can give to this, to the people that I care about, meaning those people that I manage and the ones that I love in my family, in my life right now, I'm heading around turn 4 right now. That's where I'm at. If I'm being honest with myself, that doesn't mean that's where I'm at in spirit, but in my life, I'm coming around the bend now. And that's the most important part of your life, isn't it? Because that's where, am I going to win this race? Am I going to have the patience, the stamina, the courage to kick, to really kick it and go for it and hit that line hard? Or am I just going to get washed over by the young lions and lionesses coming around the corner behind me? That's where the race is won and lost. And that's where we're at. Now, some of you on this call, you youngins, or even if you're an old fart like me, you may think in your spirit, you're still in the back stretch. You got plenty of time. I'm here to tell you, you don't. You don't have as much time as you think. You don't. And action is really important. And what you don't want to do is find yourself coming around the back stretch and being overwhelmed by the lions and lionesses that are coming for you. You want to hit that corner and you want to hit it hard. And that's all I was thinking about in my own way. I was being honest where I was on my journey and what it was going to take for me to hit that finish line and hit it strong. Don't wait until you don't have enough track is what I'm trying to say. Think of yourself right now. Think of where you are as a mom on that track. Think of how you are as a father. Think of how you are as a real estate professional. Where are you on that track? And be honest with yourself. And if you're just starting out like a Lena, know that if you start out and you think, well, I got this, there are a lot of horses that are going to break loose from you and you're going to be sucking dust, right? What I'm trying to say is there's never a great time to not be thinking about how am I going to get it to turn 4 and be in position to win. That's all I want you to think about right now. Be honest. Am I given, if Sky Michaels was in town last week, and I just had a podcast last week with this team, and they were talking about the importance of the CRM and the importance of making those connections and having those conversations. And those of you that did it, great. If you didn't do it, we're not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. But what's the point of this? What's the point if we're not going to take action? I mean, I guess when you hit turn 4, Sean, I'm finding myself less and less concerned with how people perceive what I'm about to say, I guess, right? I thought that's the new gear of turn 4. So what say you? We'll wrap it up.
One of the great blessings of getting older is other people's opinion becomes less and less important. I think you're talking about like what you're doing here, because you're not near turn 4 in life, turn 4. But I think I get what you're saying, is it's about the project you're working on right now. And you and I have talked about this. I'm such a believer in the fact that you're here. You guys are here in this amazing business. Be in this amazing business. Don't get to turn 4 and say, I probably should have spent an extra hour a day reaching out to people. Because now I could be retired and all my kids could have a home and everything would be great. I probably should have. I wish I had. You're here right now. What do you do? What look at the time in one day. Today, one day. What am I going to do with it? Since we're going to be here anyway, we might as well kick its ass. We might as well go do something that really makes a difference in our life and the life of the people we help. That I love. That's the full speed. What else is there? What are we saving ourselves for?
Yeah.
Have a really pretty body when they bury it? Like, no.
Yeah, we each have something special to give this world, and if this is the vehicle that you're going to choose to fund that mission that is your life, then give it all you got.
And you chose a good one. I mean, there's nothing like this business.
No, be curious. Just like you tell your son, right? You're going to text him, say, stop worrying about mastering anything and just be curious about life. Go find your talent, son.
And be all in. Yeah. Be all in or get out. That's the true competition. I loved, who was it? Was it Wendy that said, you're not my competition?
Yes.
I love that. But I do think there is a form of competition in this business. It's all the agents out there that are doing this as a hobby. All those agents that do 2 transactions a year. Do you know they make up 40% of the volume? There's no way on God's green earth those people should be doing real estate. It's a profession. It's a full-time profession. That's who our competition is. We got to take them out.